Hello folks, welcome back to Oregon Chicken. In today's episode, I'm gonna show you guys some of my sketches and drawings and my lists of materials that I used to build this chicken coop. So I just wanna give a big thanks to everybody that's viewed the video. I had no idea it would get this much attention. Got a lot of comments and questions about everything. So I figured I would do a follow-up video and kind of show you guys, get into more detail about how I built it and that kind of stuff. So it's working great. Everything's doing really good. We are having a few issues with the watering system. The chickens like to get on top of those and knock them sideways. And when they do that, it drains the system. So I've come home probably 2 or 3 times since we've had this set up, and there's been no water in the system. So we check it every day just to make sure. And I went out there today and there's 2 of them that are kind of tipped sideways. I put some hardware cloth around them to try to help, and it is helping, but I think I'm gonna go a little higher with the hardware cloth to try to prevent them from standing and stepping on them and knocking them sideways. But other than that, everything is just working really great. We had some raccoons. We had a whole family of raccoons visit us for a couple nights. I got some pictures of them here that you can see, and they weren't able to get in. There were some areas around where you could see where they were trying to dig in around where the hardware cloth is. So yeah, so far so good on the critters and that kind of thing. And yeah, we're just kind of hanging out waiting for eggs. We're hoping in the next month or so we should start seeing some eggs. We switched them to the grower feed. So they're on their 3rd bag of grower feed, I think. And when we're finished with this current bag we're on, we're gonna switch to layer feed and maybe start supplementing with some oyster shells and that kind of stuff. So again, if you guys have any more input, comments, questions, whatever, just post them down below in the comments below, and I'll try to get to them as best I can. So I'm just gonna show you guys like some of my original drawings here, like when I started out, and some of my sketches that you can see here. And I'm gonna show you guys a list too of that kind of thing. So I will tell you guys that I do have some carpentry background, and you know, I can build some stuff, I can form concrete and that kind of thing. But if you guys can like use a skill saw to cut lumber and use a tape measure proficiently, I mean, this is not that hard. A level, you're gonna need a level, you know, it's not that bad. So this is right here, this is a list. This is one of my scratch lists that I had, but we'll go over this in a minute too. And I have the other list, the actual list that I ordered from Home Depot. A couple things I want to go over here with you guys. Like you'll see right here, this is the treated 2x4x8s that I used to skirt the bottom to build the basement. And like I have it, you know, 2, 6. I had some extra ones in the garage. That's why you do need 6 for this. So there's that. Now, the other thing I want to talk about too is a hardware cloth. You can see where I had 2x100 at first, but then I crossed it out and went, I redid my calcs and went to 50. So I ordered this hardware cloth, and come to find out, on the lower section of the very end, that corner, it comes to over 2 feet. So depending on how level your surface is, you might need to go with a 3x50 foot roll. And that's what I did. I returned this and I got a 3 foot by 50 foot roll of hardware cloth, and I totally had enough to do everything I did on that chicken coop, and I have a little bit of leftovers too. So there's that. The other thing you won't see on this list, or the Home Depot list, is the 4x8 posts that I used. I had those, there was like an old fence here that I cut down on the property, and so I had some good treated 4x4 posts that were still in good condition. So I used those for the post and both of the runners underneath. So you'll need to add, you're gonna need to add at least 4 4x4 by 8 foot treated lumber to this list too. The other mistake I made here too is the straps, the 2x4 strapping. I don't know, they're around here. Oh, hangers right here, 2x4 hangers. I had 10. I think I ended up needing more than that. I think I needed 14. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but we'll look at those again. We can count them out here in a minute. So basically, this was the first drawing I did of it. And you know, once I got the pitch figured out and everything, you'll see like the little like detail here, like the flashing. The flash is pretty important if you're building this type of roof. You need to have this flashing and come over like this, and then the shingles are going to go on top. So obviously, so no rain gets underneath there. I first originally drew this out because I was going to set it on stumps. I was going to put stumps in the ground, but that was just not going to work out. It wasn't going to be that clean, and they're just too big. And originally, you could see I had a door here because it was going to be low in the ground. They weren't going to have access to that. But anyways, yeah, there are some other notes. This is a detail that I want to share with you guys. It's kind of funky here, but I'll try to add in pictures of the actual structure, but this is a pretty important detail because this shows how the wall is framed here, and that's the top plate. And then this shows the 2x6s sitting on top that run. Those are the rafters, I guess you could say. And then this is the roof. This is the plywood roof here. Why this is important is because the way that this outside fascia board is attached, you have to put the siding on first. So the siding goes up against the 2x4, obviously, but then it gets sandwiched with a 3-inch screw right here for that. And then of course it gets screws on top. So that's a pretty important detail there that you guys need to address, and make sure you have 3-inch screws there. It works out perfect. And then I went back and caulked the screws there, whatever. Let's talk about the siding real quick while it's on my mind. I know that I have 4x8 pieces. Let's see in the Home Depot video, it might've been 5. If you guys look on the back, you guys may have to go back to the original video, or I might go out there and get a little shot for you guys right now. But yeah, I was short, so I had to piece the back together and then put a bunch of caulking and stuff there. So if you guys don't want to see, you know, on like your siding seams or whatever, then you're gonna have to order an extra sheet. That was the most expensive part of this build. I think half of the cost was the siding. So, and I didn't want to spend, I think it's $80 a sheet or something. So I didn't want to spend an extra 80 bucks when I just pieced it in. So there's that. Let's go over here and you guys can see, like, this was my final drawing that I did for it. And so you can kind of see here, this is my slope. This is my ground or whatever. And you can see how the 4x4 posts go in the ground. There's cement there. So you need to get 4 bags of concrete, obviously. You got your 4x4 posts and you got your 4x4 runners going across, and then the 2x4s going across those. And then you can see like the little ramp here, and then this would be the treated 2x4 coming down here, little windows mocked out and this and that. Don't forget the flashing here coming out if you guys do this, you know, here. And then, yeah, we drew the door in or whatever there too. So kind of like a side view. The basic layout, you guys, it's a 4x8 sheet. So it's, you know, you get a sheet of plywood here, 1/2-inch plywood, and that's, you know, that's what's going to do your base. So just, this is like when I was still trying to draw the stumps out, but just imagine a 4x4 here. And then instead of these 2x4 runners that I have drawn here, actually I originally drew in 2x6, just run 4x4 posts all the way across here. That's what I did on mine. And then you have the 2x4s going across. The problem, it wasn't really a problem, but I just kind of eyeballed when I put my posts in. I put the first one in, and then I just measured over here, and then I tried to kind of square it up a little bit, but I was out of square by about 1 inch, I think, which it doesn't matter. You could be out of square probably 5 inches on your post, and it still wouldn't matter. Just make sure when you put your plywood sheet on, like before you buckle all this framing down, just make sure you throw a piece of plywood on there to make sure it's squaring up okay, because your post can be out of square, but you want your runners to be square, so you don't have like so you don't come up short and then you don't come out long on the other side or whatever. So just keep that in mind when you're building this. It doesn't really matter if your posts are 100% square. You'll make that up when you do your framing for the base or for the floor, whatever you want to call it. So there's that. Just working on some pitches over here. It's basically, if you want the same pitch, it's 3x6. So it raises a foot for every 2 foot. Pretty simple. So yeah, we got the roof covered, that covered. I think that's about it for the most part. You know, just make sure that you got your 4x4 posts securely mounted and you use the straps, because, you know, gravity's gonna hold it down, but, you know, if you live in an area, especially with high winds, you know, you wanna make sure that it's supported, because if you have the bottom underneath, you can get wind up underneath there and it could potentially lift the structure up. So those straps are pretty important in my opinion. And it just makes the whole structure stronger. This is a tall structure and it's just sitting on 4 posts. So you can walk up to it and shake it really hard and you can get a little flex out of it, but overall it's really strong, so. All right, guys, we'll go over the list here. This is the Home Depot. This was the main order that I made. I got it delivered because I didn't have any way to haul 16-foot 2x4s or sheets of plywood or anything. So this was my main delivery. You guys can pause it if you need to write this list down or whatever. But just remember that you need to have 6 treated 2x4x8s, and this does not include the 4x4 post. It also doesn't include like any paint or hardware like screws. You're gonna need 3-inch screws. You're gonna need 1 5/8 screws. I think I used some 2-inch screws in here too. And then I framed everything with 16-penny nails. So there's that. In the description, you guys, I'll post a list of the hardware I use for the watering system and some of the other stuff that's in there. You know, but again, you're gonna have to, like, you know, piece together certain things here and there. This is just the basics. This does not include the flashing either. So there was some flashing that I bought. I think I bought like 4x4 flashing or something for the top edge. And then I got the roof line flashing too. That's on the side of the roof there, which I highly recommend. It really trims it out nice and makes it look really professional. That stuff was cheap too. So yeah, so I mean, I guess that's it, you guys. Again, if you have any more questions or comments, I'll try to answer them to best of my ability. Hopefully this video helps you guys out. And again, I appreciate all the likes and the views and all that good stuff. So until next time, folks, Oregon Chicken.